Hey, so I have been reading Humphrey for the last couple of weeks. So I just wanted to take some time to kind of switch it up to read Humphrey's Really Willie Racing Day. So I'll read a chapter. There's only four chapters. It's a quicker book, but I'll read a chapter and then we'll come back and get back up to it later on. So definitely my surroundings have changed. Instead of being downstairs, I decided to go ahead and bring it upstairs and hopefully be an easier platform. All right, so chapter one is called A Willie Great Weekend. So it was a Friday afternoon in room 26 of Longfellow School. I was spinning on my hamster wheel, trying to stay calm. Fridays are always very exciting for me. Friday afternoon, I get to go home for the weekend with one of my classmates. It's the best me home. She plans my visits with the parents, but sometimes she forgets to tell me, who will it be this week? Would it be lawyer voice AJ, whose family likes to talk very loudly? Or will it be Speak Up Cheyenne's house, who everyone speaks very quietly? Mrs. Bispain, who is taking Humphrey home this weekend, Heidi Hopper asked. Raise your hand, Heidi, Mrs. Bispain told her. Heidi forgets to raise her hand a lot. Mandy Payne said, I am. She forgot to raise her hand too. Then Mandy said, the clock must be stuck because it's taking forever for the end of the day. Don't complain, Mandy Payne she used to complain a lot about things. Ever since she got her own hamster named Winky, she doesn't complain as much. I can't wait, she shouted. My friends giggled, even though all they heard me say was squeak, squeak, squeak. Just then, the clock hand moved and the bell rang. The end of the day had finally come. My friend Og and the frog splashed very loudly in his tank. He is a classroom pet too. He doesn't go home with any of the students on weekends because he doesn't have to eat every day like I do. I tell them all about his my weekend when I get back, I squeak. Boing, 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 he replied, hopping up and down. He makes a really funny sound because he's a funny frog. Soon, Mandy's mom arrived to pick us up. Humphrey, a tiny voice shouted. It was Mandy's little brother. I'm Brian, I squeaked back. Hi, Brian, I squeaked back. His name is Brian, but he calls himself Brian. Mandy's two younger sisters, Pammy and Tammy, rushed to the cage. The girls are twins, but they don't look alike. I'm going to take good care of you, Humphrey, Pammy said. No, I'm going to take good care of Humphrey, said Tammy. You're both wrong, Mandy said. I'm going to take care of Humphrey because he's my classroom pet. When we got to their house, Mandy put me on a table in the living room next to Winky's cage. Hi, Humphrey, Winky said. When Winky was born, one of his eyes didn't open, so it looks like he's always winking. Hi, Winky, I replied. How's everything going? Everything is hamsterific, he squeaked to me. Same with me, I said. Winky is the only one I know who can really understand my squeaks. Glad you could visit, Hump, Winky said. Just you wait until you see my wheels. I looked closely at Winky. He had four paws just like me. I didn't see any wheels. What wheels? I asked. In my car, he said. The pains got me my very own car. I have a really lovely big cage and a wheel for spinning and a hamster ball, but I didn't have a car. Look at them. I think they're talking, Mandy squeaked. Tammy, Pammy, and Brian, they all giggled. I wondered what they were talking about. Mandy said, "Oh, I know Humphrey wants to see Winky's car." Mandy put a hamster sized car down on the floor. It was bright blue and it had four wheels. In the middle was a bigger wheel, just like the one that I spin on. This was a really willy car. "It's wonderful," I said. "Watch this." Mandy put Winky in his big wheel and he started spinning. As the wheel spun, the car began to roll. Mandy took me out of my cage and held me in her hand so that I could watch. "Go, Winky, go," I squeaked. "Go, Winky, go," Pammy and Tammy and Brian shouted. Winky made the wheel go faster and faster. Zoom! The car glided across the room. When it got to the other side, Tammy picked up the car and turned it around. Zoom! The car glided across the room in the other direction. "Keep going, Winky," Mandy shouted. "I think I have a wonderful life in room 26. I think it's the best life that a hamster could have. But I have to admit, I was teeny, tiny bit of jealous at Winky. I wanted a really willy car too." After a while, Mandy put me back in my cage. Then she stopped the car and took Winky out. "I don't want you to get too tired," she said as she put him back in the cage. "Thanks, Mandy," I squeaked. Of course, I was the only one who could understand him. "Do you mind sharing?" She hamster ball, but this was not the everyday hamster ball. This was a really willy car. I started spinning on the wheel. Zoom, the car lunged forward. Zoom, I spun faster, and the car rolled across the room. I spun faster and faster. Zoom, zoom, go, Humphrey, go, Mandy shouted. "Go, go, go," Tammy, Pammy, and Brian shouted. I was going so fast that they couldn't even keep up. Bam! The car slammed into the wall. I got spun around and rolled into the other direction. "Isn't it fun?" Winky squeaked. "It was the most fun that I have ever had," I shouted. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I would have driven that car forever. For the rest of the weekend, Winky and I took turns racing the bright blue car. One time, Mandy put me in my hamster ball so Winky and I could roll along together next to each other. We whizzed through the dining room and into the kitchen. It was fun, but my hamster ball doesn't have wheels. "If you had a car, we could really have a race," Winky said. "I hope that I have a really willy car of my own someday," I told him. "I hope so too," Humphrey said. Winky took a wink. "I really do." All right, chapter 2 is called Zoom, 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 Around the Room. I'll come back in about an hour or so and we'll read that.